I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Apparently, my Edward Scissorhands video has a small fan base, and according to the comments, I'm not the only one with the perspective I shared. I liked reading about their various experiences and their own interpretations of the character. So what's next on the bucket list for me? Beats me. I had no answer until I did a rewatch of a certain movie that opened my eyes even wider than ever and changed my outlook to a full extent. WreckIt Ralph was that movie. Not only does it have good characters and themes that attribute to both children and adults, the themes presented in WreckIt Ralph can resonate with neurodivergence, whether it be ADHD, Tourette, dyslexia, OCD, or yours truly, Asperger's. Me personally, WreckIt Ralph can best be interpreted as an Asperger's allegory. When we're first introduced to Ralph himself, he's more than just the bad guy in a video game whose job is wrecking a building.
I'm gonna wreck it!
While the Nicelanders celebrate Fixer Felix Jr. as a hero, Ralph is excluded and left to live in a junkyard outside of the building. It's a subtle but good reflection of how an Aspie can feel like an outsider due to being misunderstood because of his difficulties with social interaction, repetitive behavior, and expressing emotion.
If I'm really honest with myself, I see Felix up there, so happy to see him all the time. Man, sure must be nice being the good guy.
Look at those guys, they think they can easily live without me, huh? That's fine by me, they don't deserve me at all. I cannot look at this one scene the same way anymore, and you know what? That is a benefit.
Why is he here?
I'm a big part of the game, technically speaking. Why are you here, Gene?
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
Ralph spends the majority of the movie being constantly frustrated about his label as the bad guy, just like how Aspies can be unfairly judged by a neurotypical based on their behavior that doesn't apply to the societal norms. This might be a weird comparison, but when I saw the scene with the cake, I immediately thought of how I'm not tagged on Instagram even though you can clearly see me.
There's no room for you up here.
Okay, I lied. Of course I'm tagged on Instagram. You see where I'm going with this. Ralph wanting to move away from the junkyard and into the penthouse with Felix and the Nicelanders I would consider a reflection of me wanting to hang out with that neurotypical friend group who are really close with each other. But it will likely never happen because I'm not close with them. You're just an Aspie who's just struggling with a disability.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't believe in disability. I believe in how our mind is wired. That's just a sticker slapped on by the public eye. The more you teach yourself about each condition, the more comprehensive it will be, as well as the person diagnosed. I had big desires where I wanted everyone I know to fully understand me, but as time went by, it felt like I never explained myself. They know how my mind works. And yet I'm an ensemble cast member in a big Broadway play. That was my mindset when Ralph returns to his game, only to find everyone but Gene gone. He got what he wanted, but the final outcome is the result of his actions beforehand.
Gene, wait, this is not what I wanted.
Well, what did you want, Ralph?
I don't know, I just...
That one small bit where Ralph just froze. He has a complex multi-dimensional thought, and he can't even put it into words. I was watching myself in that scene. This is me whenever I am forced to be simple with my thoughts instead of just being layered with what I'm internally processing. My thoughts fly by faster than my words do.
I was just tired of living alone in the garbage.
Well, now you can live alone in the penthouse.
Alright, Gene, you've crossed the line. I've officially placed you in the category of movie villains that are easy to punch. Yes, King Candy did gaslight Ralph into not having Vanellope erased in order for her code to stay deleted, and I do side with you all on that what he did was maniacal, but apparently he's no Gene.
Thanks, Satan.
Now that I'm on the topic of putting thoughts into words, his interactions with other characters highlight symptoms of misunderstanding certain social cues or the subtleties behind the emotions of those around him. When he enters hero's duty, Ralph is out of his element, and the interaction he has with Sergeant Calhoun and his adjustment to understanding the context of her demeanor is awkward.
Narkowski!
Who?
I'm Markowski.
What's the first rule of hero's duty?
No cuts, no butts, no coconuts.
And this is where the allegory amplifies when we meet Vanellope von Schweetz. Like Ralph, she is also an outcast, except she has a glitch, and the racers in the Sugar Rush game exclude her simply because of that. The glitch can be seen as a metaphor for neurodivergent traits. Also, is it just me, or does she have a speech impediment?
I didn't win it in my game. I won it in Hero's Duty.
Hero's duty?
Not funny.
Because of Vanellope and Ralph's experiences of exclusion, they form a bond with each other, and as Ralph gets to know Vanellope more, he becomes her protector, simply by looking past differences, and more on who they are.
I know it's none of my business, but why do you even stick around this game?
Glitches can't leave their games. It's one of the joys of being me.
The Bad Anon reminds me of an organization built for autism advocacy. All the bad guys replying to Ralph's story with relatability and advice is among the lines of finding a fellow Aspie with the same restricted interests, and you pretty much agree on everything. Then there's this line.
You're not going turbo, are you?
Is it turbo to want a friend? Or a medal? Or a piece of pie every once in a while? Is it turbo to want more out of life?
I resonate with that line in the term of wanting to get out of my comfort zone and not stick to any routines or rituals unless I really feel like it. It can get boring if the conversation doesn't change and you want to expand your knowledge on life and go beyond your limits. Ralph wants to fix himself in order to be accepted by getting a medal for himself. This mirrors the experience of Aspies being expected to mask in front of others and that they need to meet the standards of some sort in order to be valued. In the end, what matters most is self-acceptance. Being true to himself and searching for a place that appreciates him for who he is gives Ralph the sense of belonging. Even Vanellope embraces her glitch rather than trying to erase it. It's a pretty relevant message for Aspies all around, since all they rely on is changing who they are, whereas they should come to terms with how they are wired mentally. Both Ralph and Vanellope represent the idea that it's okay to be different, and that your flaws can be seen as strengths. And to cap it all off,
I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one I'd rather be than me.
thank you for watching.